Okay. So, yeah, good evening, everyone. So, we are back with the second session of Android Study Jams. And as you all know, Sneha here is a facilitator for the program. I hope you went through the material for the last session because she'll be covering slightly advanced topics today. But if you haven't, that's also fine. Just try to understand today's session. And if you have any doubts, you can always post them in the chat section. And then later you can go back and go through the review the material. It's all available on the events platform. Just don't unmute your mic in between. And yeah, that's all from my side. Sneha, you may take over now.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
And is my screen visible?
Yes.
Hello,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
welcome to the second session of Android Study Jams 2020, presented to you by DSC IIT Goa. So, continuing the first session today, we will be extending our learning of Android, Android Studio, and Kotlin. So, before proceeding, I hope everyone has completed the first two pathways of Unit 1 and earned your badges. So just type yes or give a thumbs up in the chat section if you have completed the first two pathways successfully. Yeah, so I can see lots of names. So that's great if you have completed. And those of you who couldn't do it due to like exams or other engagements, don't worry. You can complete all the pathways after this session. And so let's have a quick recap of what we learned in the previous session. So we learned what was Android Studio and Android as an operating system, and then I showed you the Google Android developers website, and you had to complete the first two pathways and earn your badges. And then we learned the Kotlin and the syntax, and we learned about Android Studio and its tools. And then I showed you how to create an emulator on Android Studio and how to enable USB debugging on your Android phone to connect it to your computer and run your apps. So this was all about the first session. Yeah. So in session 2 of Android Study Jams, we will be learning the pathways 3 and 4. That is building a basic layout and adding images and text to your app and adding a button to your app. Uh, so on the screen here, you can see the layout of two apps, which I will be showing you how to make in today's session. The first one on the left here is a very simple birthday card app that simply shows a birthday message and displays an image when the app is run. And the second app on the right here is a dice roller app. So I think you can see a small roll button on the screen. So when you click on the roll button, it should show a random number every time. So these are the two apps which we'll be learning how to make in today's session. So in the first app is mostly about editing the layout, and there's not much of Kotlin code involved in the first the birthday card app. You just have to add text and images. While on the dice roller app, you will be adding some Kotlin code to generate a random number every time. Uh, okay, so let's go to Android Studio. So I think you can see my layout here of a birthday card app, and this is a dice roller app which I've created. So I will start from scratch how to build an app. So go to File, go to New, and click on the New project. So let's start a new project. And like I showed you in the previous session, you have to click on the empty activity template and click on Next. And let's name our app as Happy Birthday. And you can save wherever you want on your PC and choose the language as Kotlin and your minimum SDK as API 19 and finish. So as I showed you in the previous session, it will automatically download all the files that you require to build a simple app. So before proceeding to building this birthday card app, I would like to introduce you to a term called UI, called as user interface. The user interface of an app is what you see on the screen. It could be text, images, buttons, and many other types of elements. It's how the app shows things to the user and how the user interacts with the app. So on the screen here, you can see text view, button, image view, recycler view. All of these are called as views. So almost everything that you see on your app is actually a view. It could be a button, or it could be a text, or it could be an image, and it could be a scroll view or a switch. So views are actually interactive elements like a clickable button or an editable input field and so on. So for displaying text, you will be using text view, and for images, it is image view, button, and so on. So on the left here, you can see the project window. You would have seen this before, which contains all the files. And then in the center, you can see this, uh, which prints hello world. This is actually called a design view. So whatever changes you make will be shown here. So right now it just prints hello world because we haven't added anything else. And on the top left is a palette. Palette will show you the possible views that you can add. It could be text, button, image. And below this is a component tree. The component tree will show what are the views that you have added. It could be text view, button, or image view. And suppose I click on this text view, you can see here attributes which comes on the right side. So you can change any of the attribute that you want. Could change the text, and you can change the width, or these are customizable as per your wish. And on the left side, you have this app folder. The app will contain the resources folder where you can store your images. If you download some image from the internet, you can store it on the resources folder and use it as and when you wish. And the layouts folder is for different types of layouts. Uh, so let's start with making our app. So here in the component tree, you see something called as constraint layout, followed by text view. The constraint layout is this outer box that you see, this outer box with the blue line. That is your constraint layout. And this text view is the text that you print inside. So you can see that it shows hello world next to it. So let's go to the attributes and see that near text, it is written hello world. So if we change this, you can see that the text changes to happy birthday on the screen. But we don't want our text to be on this in the center of the screen. We actually want our text to be on the top and on the bottom, like I showed you. So let's just delete this text view, and let's drag one text view from here and paste it here. So to add text views, you just have to click on the text view from the palette and drop it on the constraint layout box. Okay, and then let's change the text here to if I change it to Happy Birthday Sam, you can see that the text changes on the top of the constraint layer. But now if you go to component tree, you see a red color symbol here. It shows you an error. It shows that the view is not constrained. It only has design time positions, which means that if you run this app, the app doesn't know where to actually place the Happy Birthday Sam. because you haven't constrained it with respect to layout editor. So what you have to do is you have to click this circle and drag it to the constraint layout here and to here. And now if you can add any width that you want. So in the layout folder under the constraint widget, you see there's something written called 0 and 0. This constraint basically tells you how much is the margin from the constraint layout. So let's just change this to 16 and 16. So now you can see there's a small margin between the text and the constraint layout, but the text is too small. So let's change its size. Just scroll down and you can see the attributes. Text size is 14 SP. So let's change it to 36 SP. SP is a unit of font here, and now it's visible. And let's change the color to black. And let's change the font. You can there are lots of fonts you can change as you wish. Let's go to casual. So that's how you customize your text view. So suppose you want to print from whom you're sending the birthday message. So let's go to text view and drag one more from there and paste it on the layout editor here. And then you can change your text from here. And do the same like you did for the previous text view. You can see that it goes outside because we haven't constrained it with respect to constraint layer. So let's type 16, the margin for the text view. And let's change the font. So when you run your app, you can see this message that pops up, happy birthday Simon from Emma. So since it's online, I'm not able to show you how it looks like when you run the app because the emulator on Android Studio is very slow. It will take a lot of time to open and run the app. So once after the session, you can connect your Android device to your computer, complete those two pathways, and then run your app on your Android device. You can see that this message pops up. And now this is too plain, so let's add image. So to add an image, you have to use the image view here and drag it and drop it on the layout editor. And this pick a resource dialog box will open. It'll ask you to choose which image you want to insert. So before inserting an image view, I'll just show you how to import a resource from your computer to Android Studio. So go to View, Tool Windows, and Resource Manager, and click on Import Drawables. So you can see I have few images here. So actually, I do not have the happy birthday image right now. So I have a picture of Tony Stark. I just import it. And now I open image view. So I think you can see an image here. Now you have to constrain this image with respect to the constraint layout, just like you did with text view. So for that, similarly, you have to drag this circle and shift it to the constraint layout here. And now it gets positioned in the center. Uh, but but still you can see that there's some white space on the app. So let's go to its attributes. And there's an option called scale type. And click on scale type and click on center crop. The center crop will make sure that it is in the center. But you have to make sure that this image is constrained with respect to the text view as well. So make sure that you connect all your text views with your image. Okay, and that's how you build a basic app using just layout editor. And there is no Kotlin code as such involved here because you're just editing your layout. You can customize with button, you can customize with scroll view, you can customize with switch, and so on. This image is as per your wish. You can insert any image from the computer, from your computer, and you can customize a text view and image view as in when you wish. So let's go to the slides. Yeah, this is how the app should look when you insert the image, this image. I do not have this image. Uh, let's have a quick recap of what we did so far. So you have to open your empty activity template in a new project, drag and drop the two text views on the layout editor. You have to add constraints, text size and text color, font family for the text views. And you have to import your image from the resource manager and drop it to the design area. And you have to add constraints for image view with respect to text view. And that's how you make a simple birthday card app. And if you click on the run option there, you can run your app and it will pop up the birthday card image on your screen. So that was a very simple app. Now we'll be moving on to making a dice roller app. So before going to dice roller app, I'll just tell you what the app actually does. So when you click on the roll button here, it should pop up a new number every time. So for writing the program of generating a random number, you have to write a Kotlin code for that. So before going to the Kotlin part, I'll just explain what an activity means in an app. An activity provides the window in which the app draws its UI. So whenever you open an app, what pops up is actually called a activity. The first screen that pops up on your app is called an activity. And the second concept that you need to know is classes and objects. So what is a class? A class is a blueprint which contains instructions for how to create something. An object instance is an actual dice that is created from the blueprint. So class will contain something called as properties and functions. So for example, we have to create a dice class here. So its properties can be sides or edges or corners or color. And its function is to roll a random number every time. And from the class, you're going to create an object instance, and you can customize it to generate a random number every time. Uh, so I'll first show you in the Kotlin playground how to write a random number generator. So this is the Kotlin playground. So previously you have learned the types of data like int, string. Int is for integers and string is for text. But now in dice roller app, we need a range of values. That is, we need a dice to display numbers from 1 to 6 for a 6-face dice. So there's a data type called int range, which displays a range of values when you run the code. And let's write the code for that.
Okay, so here's a small question first. Are the classes in Kotlin same as the classes in C++?
Yeah, there is classes. The concept is the same. You will be creating a class with a you'll be creating a class and define some attributes and functions like you do in C++. It's the same concept, and you'll be calling the class and creating an object instance. So you can see here I have used a variable called dice range that takes in a range of values from 1 to 6. So for defining a range, you have to write the starting point, which is 1, followed by two dots, and then the ending point that is 6. And this is of type int range. And then I define a new variable called random number, and I use this dice range and a function called as random. So a random function will generate and return you a random number every time you run this app. So I'll run this, and you can see that it prints a random number 6. If I run it again, it will print a different number every time. So that's a random number generator in Kotlin. So you'll be using this inside your inside your Android Studio. So before going to the Android Studio, you have to know how to create classes in Kotlin. So generally, all dice will work essentially the same. That is, they'll have some properties such as size, and they'll have some behavior. That is, they have to roll out a random number. So we'll be creating a class called as dice. Uh, you have to use the keyword class followed by the name of the class and curly braces. And let's define attribute called as size. And how do you call the class object is uh, you define any variable of your choice. For example, I define my first dice, and you have to call the class. My first dice is the object instance, and dice is the class. And when you use this dice class, it'll automatically go into the class dice, and it will use its variables and functions. So I just have defined one attribute, that is size. So if you want to print the value of size, you can use it like this. Or you use a dot operator to access the attributes from the class. So it should print 6. It prints 6 because 6 is a part of the class, and it will access the class attributes and print the value of 6. So the dice class should also have some functions. Its function is to roll a random number. So let us define a new function, fun roll. And here we'll be using this random number generator, which we did previously. So let me just create a new number. Inside the roll function, I've used dice range from 1 to 6, and I use a random number variable to access this range of values, and use a random function that will give you a random number every time. And we need to print the random number. So let's run the app. So you can see that, oh, I didn't call the function. You have to call the function here. So here I'm calling the roll function. My first dice is my object instance, and I call the roll function from the class dice. So you can see that it prints a random number here every time. So here, we're printing a random number explicitly. That is, we're using the println function. Suppose you want to return a value. That is, you don't want to print the value every time. You just want to return the value. You have to make sure the class knows what type of data you're returning. So here we haven't mentioned anything class dice. We don't know. We're just assuming that it will not return anything. So let us put here int :int to tell the in this function role, we'll put :int to tell the function role that it has to return integer value. So in place of println, it will just return a random number. So we're adding this int function to tell the fun role that you have to return an integer value every time. And we use return statement here to return the value random number. So when it returns a random number, there should be something in main function to get the random number. When I just call my first dice.roll, there is no variable defined for it to get the value of the random number. So let's say the value is dice roll. So val dice roll will get the value that roll function will return, and will store it in dice roll variable. And now I can use this dice roll to print the value. So you can see that I've printed a statement. My first dice dot sites. My first dice dot sites will take the value 6, and since I've added dollar symbol, it'll take the value that is stored in sites and not the sites itself. And it will show the value that is present in dice roll variable. Dice roll will contain the value that roll function returned. So when I write fun roll int, it will return a random number every time to this dice roll. And when I print the statement, it will print the sites and then the value that is returned. So it shows your 6-sided dice showed 2. So you run it again. Uh, you will have a random number every time. 1, 6, and so on. So that is a basic blueprint of how your a random number generator will work. We'll be using exactly the same code in Android Studio to generate a random number.
Sneha, there's a doubt. here dice range.random specifies the range till where we can generate the random number. So could we have used random and within brackets 6?
Yeah, you can use that. It will automatically take from 1 to 6. We can use that. This is just to show you that how you can declare ranges in Kotlin. You can use that too, random of 6. So this is a very this is just for a 6-faced dice. Suppose you want to have a dice that is 20-faced, or it should print values from 1 to 20, or you want a 12-faced dice, then there is no provision in our code right now because it automatically prints only from 1 to 6. So now we'll take values from the user as to how many sides he wants in his or her dice. So next to class dice, you will be passing some arguments that the user will give, and depending on the arguments, the dice range will change. So suppose this is how you pass arguments to your class. Val num size int. So whenever the user declares a object instance of class dice, he or she should has to pass the number of sides that he wants, and depending on number of sides, the dice range will change. So I no longer need this, and the dice range, instead of 6, I need till the maximum value the sides are. So when you put one dot dot num sides, it will print values or random values from 1 till the number of sides you give, and the rest is the same. It will return the random number. So in my main function, I have to pass some arguments now. So suppose I pass 20, and I run my app. You can see it prints a 20-sided dice showed 17. So I print the num sides, the number of sides it has, and the random number that I generated. So with this, you can make any type of dice that you want, but you have to make a different object instance every time you want to have a different dice. So if you use a dice of 6, it will print from 1 to 6. Dice of 8 will print from 1 to 8, and so on. It will print random number. So you'll be using this code in your Android app. So let's go back to Android Studio, and let's open a new project. The same procedure, empty activity, and let's call this dice roller app. And the language as Kotlin, and minimum SDK as API 19, and finish. So your activity.main XML file is where you'll be customizing your layout, and your main activity.kt is where you write your Kotlin code, whatever we wrote right now. And activity.main XML. So now you don't need a text view. You basically need a button, because when the roll button is clicked, it should generate a random number. So let's click on button and drag it on the layout editor. And in the attribute section on the right side, you can display whatever text you want. So let us click roll. And you can see that it changes to roll. And there's a text here that shows hello world. I don't want that text as hello world because I'll be displaying an image. So before changing the text, you have to make sure that's constrained with respect to constraint layout. So this circle here should be attached to the text view. And this should be constrained with respect to constraint layout. So you can see that there's a 0 dp added here automatically in the layout, which means it is equally at, at equal distance from both of the sides. and that's how you constrain it. And in the text view, I do not want any text to be displayed because I want an image to be displayed instead. So you can just go to this text and delete hello world. So nothing will be printed. So this is just a simple role button with currently which currently doesn't do anything. So now I'll be writing a Kotlin code. So the Kotlin code will basically be written in the main activity.kt file here. This is where you will be writing your Kotlin code. So you can see that there's some code already written that is just to initialize your packages and initialize all the tools. And if you expand the import part, you can see that there are some libraries that have been imported. So as you write different classes, each class will have a different library to be imported. So it will be tedious if you import manually every time. So there's an option in Android Studio to automatically import the library when you use a class. So to enable that auto import, I'll be showing you how to enable the auto import. So you have to go to File, click on New Project Settings. Yeah, go to Settings for New Project in File and click on Other Settings and click on this Auto Import option. So auto import option basically will automatically import all the libraries when you need as you write a Kotlin code. It will figure out what you're writing and automatically import the libraries. So in this section, make sure that this add ambiguous imports on the fly and optimize imports on the fly, both of them are checked. Make sure that's checked here and here, and click on OK. So as you write a Kotlin code, it will automatically import the libraries. So here you can see some code and we'll be writing continuing from here, our random number generator. So before going to the random number generator, there is a function called as find view by ID. There's a function here that you can see find view by ID. So what this function find view by ID does is that it finds the button present in your project and it finds out its ID and prints the button on the screen. So you have to mention the ID of the button here, which is so to figure out what the ID of a button is, you have to go back to activity.mail and click on this role button. And there's an option here called ID on the top most part of attribute and it's mentioned button. So your ID of a button is the name button itself. And make sure you take note of that name and write it down in the find view by ID. R.id is how you start and how you start writing your ID, and button is the name of the ID. So I have created a new variable called role button, which is of type button, and it should contain the ID of ID of the button that I created in activity.main XML file. So that is val role button, and we'll be using this role button variable to do our to generate a random number. So now there's a function called as set on click listener. What is this function set on click listener is that it it makes it will identify when a user is clicking on the role button and will execute the code that is within the set on click listener. So there's a function that will make sure that that the button has been clicked and then the function is being carried out. So inside set on click listener, inside this function you have to display your text. Suppose you want to display a random number 6, then it has to be a text view for now. After that we'll change it to an image view. So inside, when you click the roll button, it should generate a random number 6 and display the number on the screen. uh, so let's create something called as result text view, and it is of type text view. And same, you have to use the find view by id button. And we'll be using this result.text view to display the text that we want. So dot text is a function that will print the text on the screen. So let us just say it prints 6 every time. So so basically we created a button, roll button, and when the roll button is clicked, it should display a 6 every time. So this is basically how you this will just print a random this will just print the text 6 every time, but you do not want this text 6 to be written every time. You want a different number to be printed every time. So let's just delete this for now and create a new function called as roll dice. So you can see that this is in red because we haven't defined the function roll dice yet. So before defining roll dice, we need to mention what is the class that we want. So like before, we'll generate a dice class. So this is a class dice. This is the same code we wrote before in Kotlin Playground. It takes num size as an argument, and there's a function called roll, which returns an integer, a random integer every time. So this is a much more optimized code. I have not written the dice range before. I just return one dot num size is the range, and I apply a random function on it, and it will return a random number. So this roll dice is actually where we'll write our function for calling this class. So if you hover over this red part, you can see that this is a red color because we haven't yet defined the function. So click on this more actions, and automatically Android Studio will give you an option to create a function roll dice. So click on this function roll dice, and you can see that it adds a function private fun roll dice. And we can write a code inside this. So we have to call our class. We have to create object instances to our class. Uh, so the same way like we did in the Kotlin Playground, it is call an object instance called dice of the class dice. Let's pass 6 as the argument. So basically it will take 6 sides, and let's call the roll function. So let me call this dice roll, which will store the value returned. So dice roll is the variable that will store the value returned by the roll function. Now suppose you want to display what is being generated. So like we wrote before, we have to write result text view of type text view and find view by ID. What it does is it will go to your layout editor, and if there's a text view there, it will find its ID and store it here. And the thing that should be printed on the result text view is your dice roll should be printed. So I use the dice roll variable. A dice roll is an integer variable, so let me convert it to string. So result text view will take the dice roll value and convert it into string, and it will print the value. So this is how your basic random number generator will work. So it calls the roll dice function. The roll dice will go to the private fund roll dice, and it will see an object instance dice, which contains 6 sides, and it will call the roll function. The second sentence here, dice dot roll, it will call the roll function, and it will print a random number every time on the text view. And this is how it will run, but it will not show you an image. It will just show you 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and so on. So that's how text should be printed. Suppose you want to insert images. Instead of text, you want to insert an image that shows 1, that shows 2, that shows 3, and till 6. So basically, instead of text view here, you have to basically add your image view. So let me just take this text view out and write image view. And here I'll change it to image view. So it will take the image view from the layout editor, find its ID and pass it to result image view. Uh, but now it should display a different image for a different number. So there is an option called as set image resource under this. So I'll use this result image view dot set image resource. And here you have to pass the ID of the image that you want. So here it shows that unresolved reference dice to because I haven't imported the image. So go to view and click on tool windows and click on resource manager and put import drawables. And you can see I have imported some images of dices that is one that shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's click on all of them. And click on next and import. So you can see that my images have been imported and the red part here goes, and automatically from the drawable it will import the dice to image and show it on the screen. But you don't want only the dice to image to be seen every time, you want a different image to be seen every time. So you have to use a statement called as when. That is, when my dice roll is 1, I should show dice 1 image. When my dice roll is 2, I should show dice 2 image. 3, it should show dice 3 image, and so on. So I'll be using a statement called when. So when dice roll So this is how you assign values to the variable in when. That is when dice roll is 1. So when my dice roll is 1, I should set the image to dice 1. Similarly, I'll just copy this here. So let's just change the value. When the dice roll is 2, the dice image should be 2. When the dice roll is 3, so this completes your when statement. So you might be wondering why is there still an red mark or image show, because we haven't yet added the image layer editor. So let's go to activity.main.xml and let's drag an image and paste it here. And let me click on this dice 1. Let's give some constraints. So I'm just pasting a sample avatar image here. And you can add constraints as you wish here. Uh, the top constraint is basically from the top, how much is the width from the constraint layout. And this is from the left side. And just make sure that everything that you paste on your constraint layout is constrained with respect to each view. That is, with respect to button, it should be constrained. With respect to constraint layout, it should be constrained. And make sure to give proper width here. So that's how it works. And the ID here for this image is actually image view 2. So make sure you take note of that ID and write the same ID here. So suppose I give it image view 2. The red part will go. So that's how it works. So I have created this dice roller app. If you constrain it properly, you get this image in the center and the roll button. Similarly, the birthday card app I've shown you now. So that's how you create your dice roller and image app.
Okay, here's a doubt, Sneha. Says that could be like define a variable and then take the number generated and put like a dice underscore A.
Uh, in the random number generator,
Uh, no, I think it's in the, I think it means the image part.
uh,
Johan, can you unmute yourself and just clarify?
Yeah, I meant like when we just we wrote six codes instead of like we could just write r
yeah, yeah,
dot drawable dice underscore a, and we could define a variable a which will take the random number generated.
yeah, you can do that. You can just store the value for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you can just write once. You just mention the statement once. Yeah, that is one way to optimize your code.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
That. So let's go to let's have a recap. So you generate a random number using the int range function and random function, and then you have to create your dice class and a roll dice function that will generate a random number. And then in the layout editor you have to customize the roll button and add text as you want if you want text, and add image if you want images. And we have to add the dice import the dice images and then use the when statement to assign the appropriate images. And then if you click on the run button, you can observe all your functionality on your Android device. The testing part you will be you have to do it on your own, because I cannot show it to you because the emulator is very very slow on Android Studio. So that's how Dice Roller app works. So you can be creative. You can create any app that you want, any other functionality using the same concepts that we learned today, and you can create your customized apps. And I've added some links here to continue your learning of Kotlin. So this is the developer Android website, and your Kotlin website here. You have all your vocabulary used in Kotlin on this site, and some blogs which you can go to, and this is the newsletter. So you can continue your learning of Kotlin from here. And the next session will be the final session where we will be learning layouts. So the second unit uh, is about layouts used in Android Studio and in Kotlin. So that is pathway 5 and pathway 6. Pathway 5 is getting a user input to your app and then connecting it with the internet. And pathway 6 is how do you display a scrollable list. For example, if you scroll through your Play Store or something, you can see a list that keeps on continuing. So you'll be learning how to insert a scrollable list. And yeah, these two pathways we'll be learning in the next session. And that's all for today. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me.
Guys, you can unmute yourself now and ask if you have any doubts at all.
Uh, can we use some animation on this, like the dice rolling when we push the roll button?
Yeah, you can add animation, but that is a bit advanced. So for now, it's just you. There's a section called prior programming experience track. In that, you will be learning how to add the animation. So you can check out that track if you want to know more about that.
Okay, thank you.
So do complete pathways 3 and 4 before the next session. So it will be easier.
Yeah, and
Uh,
we'll be sharing the material. Yeah, Johan, safe.
when we'll have the next because we have a mid sem on 5th Jan.
Yes, yes, we know that. So it will be probably after your mid-sems and uh, maybe after the Tech Fest as well, because like you guys must be participating in them, so you'll be busy. So it will be after that. So you have plenty of time to complete both the tracks if you haven't yet started. So yeah, we'll be posting the material soon.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. I don't think there are any more doubts. So thank you for joining, guys. And if you have any doubts, anything at all, you can like ask us on the group or Discord as well. And we'll be posting the resources there as well. So yeah, that's it. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deep. Bye.
Thank you.